Hi, this is Audra Dahl, and I'm so glad you're here to join me on this side of the couch. So Katy Brooks is back with me today because we're going to do kind of a part 2 to the emotions, because we talked in the last episode about how our bodies are so intricately connected to our emotions, right? We are mind, body, and soul. And so as such, we can work just on our mind like we do sometimes in counseling. We tend to focus too much on the mind. But with Katy and her knowledge of yoga and trauma-informed yoga and the 10 years of experience she has in that, also does a lot of work with body healing and focusing more on the body's reaction to emotions and limbic system response, really.
Yeah.
So we were going to follow up and talk more about that in this episode.
Mm-hmm. So I think that creating a safe environment looks like engaging your body in a way that feels soothing and calming. And you can't do that all the time, but you can do it sometimes. And training your body looks not just like physical exercise where it's intense, and I think that's really great, and I do that often, but also training your body to experience rest while you're awake. And what does that look like? And how do I feel calm when I'm working? How do I feel calm when I'm with friends? What does that look like? So I think that it takes practice in the small in-between moments, the moments when no one else is around and you notice, I'm barely breathing right now. I'm barely breathing. So those are good times, or maybe when you're overwhelmed. But typically you don't think about doing things when you're super overwhelmed. So I think it's a good practice to have in everyday life. And the practice is simple breath work and breath and body awareness and connecting mentally to what's going on with you physically. So a simple way to do that is a breath practice that you take up every day, and it's just a quick, 10-15 seconds. It's really easy, really short, simple.
Okay, so walk me through it. Or walk us through it to everybody who's listening, so we can all do it with you.
Yeah, so it's important to have both of your feet flat on the ground. So I would say, check out where your feet are and move them to be flat. And then from there, direct your attention maybe to like your posture, your shoulder area, your upper body, and just see if there's any room for you to sit up tall, to be a little open across your chest. And then notice, without changing your breath, notice your breath as it is. Yeah, and once you do that, I want you to close your mouth, close your lips, and then take a breath in that you do notice, just something that's a little more intentional, a little bit deeper, a little fuller. And just feel that, check on that. And one powerful tool about breath work and why it is helpful to your physiology is because at the base of your brainstem, you have the vagal nerve. The vagus nerve runs down your entire spinal cord and into almost every single organ of your body. So a quick way, easy way to stimulate your vagus nerve is by breathing with your mouth closed, a forceful exhale. So it wiggles the nerve in the back of your throat. And when you activate that nerve, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the nervous system that soothes you, calms you, rests, digests, that thing. So simply breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your nose is powerful. Here's a really helpful, effective way to breathe. It's a diaphragmatic breath. And so it's different than a deep breath. A deep breath can sometimes still land in the chest area. So you want to inhale and notice if your chest lifted up. If it did, next breath in, I want you to direct it a little lower down into expanding the stomach. And not just forward expansion, but also a lateral extension and a back extension. So it feels like you're kind of busting a can of biscuits, right? Like from all the way around. Are you saying
something about my muffin top?
Absolutely not. Not at all. We envision the torso as a container, and you want to expand the container, which is your breath, both laterally, so it's a 360 breath. And that is going to stimulate and use your diaphragm. So that's a diaphragmatic breath. So practice breathing that way. So what you do is you breathe in through your nose and try to push your belly out and sides of your body out, and start breathing into the low back as well. Really powerful, challenging breath. And then you use, with your mouth closed, that same force to kind of brace the belly, and then exhale out through your nose. So it creates a pretty strong sound through your nose. Yeah, but you don't have to do it dramatically. You just breathe in and then breathe out, and imagine you're kind of pushing your belly stronger into its place. You don't want to collapse or don't want to move. You just want to get a little stronger in the torso as you breathe out through your nose. Are you feeling that?
I am. How long do you normally do this for?
I just do 3 breaths.
3 breaths.
And then I move on with my day.
Okay.
I don't sit and cross my legs and make it a whole big scene. I get my feet on the floor, I roll my shoulders back and sit up tall, and then I just take the longest breath in that I possibly can, especially if I'm feeling depressed that day.
Mm-hmm.
Inhales trigger sympathetic nervous system responses. Exhales trigger parasympathetic. So when you breathe in, you're pushing on your internal gas, the gas of your body. When you breathe out, you're pushing on the brakes. And so all day long, we want to do both. And so I always tell individuals when I'm teaching a class, like, hey, just check in on your energy today. Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling anxious? If you're feeling a little more tired, spend more time on your inhale. If you're feeling a little anxious, if you're feeling a little hyped up or worried, spend more time on your out breath. And that is going to calm things down. And so some days I need energy. Some days I have plenty.
So the point of it is to stimulate the parasympathetic system, which is
on the out breath, yeah.
On the out breath.
Yeah.
What if, so like for me, I have a hard time doing some breathing exercises these days because I have some lung issues.
Sure.
And I have half a paralyzed diaphragm. So it just doesn't feel real great sometimes to breathe deep and out hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some other things that people can do to stimulate the parasympathetic?
So you would want to go outside, feet off, or shoes off, put your feet in the grass. You want to be in the sunlight. You want to be in places that automatically create a sense of ease. Movement that's slow, a little bit gentler of a movement, like slow yoga, things like that. If that's not your thing, you could put a pillow in between your shoulder blades and lay back and let your arms fall around it. It's kind of like a dead fish.
Interesting.
Yeah, so keeping your heart a little elevated above your hips, and then your head falls back behind the pillow. That spinal extension, that's going to really open you up and soothe you. Very, very calming pose. Again, just anything that you personally feel like this works for me, this gives me a sense of ease and anxiety and less pressure to think and perform and be perfect. Yeah.
So I've noticed for myself, I've never been a person to take baths. I've always instantly been bored in a bath.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if I'm going to be in a bath, I want to be totally submerged, and that doesn't happen either. Right. But in the last month, a little more, month and a half, I have found the values of a hot bath. It calms me, and it de-stresses me. Yeah. And I do breathing exercises as I can in the bath, or I'm learning emotional freedom tapping. Yeah. Right now, and finding great benefit out of just a silly bath and with Epsom salt.
It's not silly at all, and I think it just speaks to like the uniqueness of every single person, and there's just no prescription. There's helpful, useful options, but a bath used to give me anxiety, and I didn't know it at the time, but now when you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, when I got in, I felt so bored that it was like an anxious bored. I don't think I would feel that now, but I get that way. Some people love going to the movies. But there's something about being in the movie theater that gives me, like, anxiety. I don't feel calm at all. In fact, I'm just not myself in a movie theater. I just don't feel right. I'm always looking around. I'm, like, on edge. And so some people feel like it's a great de-stressor for me to go see a movie. And it's not true for everyone. So I think honestly, the quickest way I feel like to kind of boost your mood is any sort of serotonin lifter,
Right.
which would be like sleep and sunlight and exercise and eating, making sure you're eating regularly, and then socializing. Those are the serotonin boosters right there.
Yeah.
So that helps your nervous system, though, when you're feeling that sense of calm and happy. So it's the basics, but everyone's a little different.
So another couple of things that I know of that helps to stimulate the vagus nerve.
Yep.
Because if you stimulate the vagus nerve, you stimulated the parasympathetic system.
Correct.
All of it's calming. There's one that's rather new that a optometrist came up with.
Mm.
An optometrist found a treatment that helps with anxiety. Isn't that interesting? But he found that the muscles that focus the eye for distance are the opposite muscles of the eye that focus near. And so when you are going from near to far focus and far focus back to near focus, you're using opposing muscles, and somehow that stimulates the vagus nerve. And then it's calming. And so the exercise is just take your finger or a pen, something to hold up about 12 inches from your eyes. Hold it up and look at it, and look at your finger. I'll say finger because that's what I'm doing right now. Look at your finger in the near focus to where it's in focus, but the wall behind at the distance is out of focus. And count to 5 or 7 slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then switch to the far focus through your finger, so that your finger then is out of focus and the wall is in focus.
Right.
And count 1, 2,
Wow.
3, 4, 5, and back to your finger. And count to 5 and back to the wall and back and forth. It's called vergence therapy that I learned with brain spotting. And I have a lot of people that have a lot of success with that one. Sternum tapping is another one.
Yeah.
Right? Bilateral stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Butterfly kisses, where you cross your arms and tap your
Yep.
hand to the opposing shoulder.
Right.
Right? Or bilateral music, where you have put on headphones or earbuds, and whatever streaming music you do, just type in bilateral sounds, and it will cause the brain to process side to side, which stimulates vagus, which stimulates parasympathetic.
Yeah. That's interesting.
All very calming.
Mm-hmm.
I love the new techniques that we're finding, in addition to having the old standbys.
I think our body is just so key in finding ways to get better and grow. And I remember I was on a walk, because I do that a lot. I was on a walk and I had this terrible intrusive thought about dislocating my knee, and I was not right in the head when it happened. And it may seem silly to a lot of people, but like I really fear that happening because it's happened to me before. But so
it's not silly.
Well, it's like a weird thing for me, and everyone in my life knows that. It came to me like really hard. Like it felt like I was punched in the face with that thought, you know. And everybody has a thought that they're like, oh no, I really can't deal with this one right now. And so when that came up for me, I was walking alone, and it was overwhelming. I started getting clammy. I just couldn't get out of the thought. And I was like, you need to use what you know. Use what you know, which is your breath. So I probably looked like a fool, but I was doing a really short breath in and then super long breaths out, like, and it just is, it's ridiculous to do it in public, but I needed help. It was not okay. I was like, I can't get out of this moment. I'm overwhelmed. And I used my breath work, and it took 11 seconds. Usually I would get out of it like 5 or 10 minutes later. Like I get stuck in that. So it was
good for you, not caring what other people think enough
I didn't.
let it stop you from doing what you need to do to take care of yourself.
I just don't tell people that story often, but I couldn't let myself experience that.
Yeah. There's no reason to.
Yeah, it was very helpful.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for sharing about how to do the breath. All right.
It's powerful. It really is.
I do believe in the power of breath and relaxation in general. I've gotten rid of migraines doing relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in the chronic pain field, and I would teach relaxation to people in session, actually do it, for most of the hour. And it was so interesting because the body reacts to pain, especially chronic pain, the same way it does to any stress, any threat, right? It's living in fight, flight, or freeze at that moment, or all the time rather, because of the chronic pain. And so people are bracing against it, which increases the pain.
Absolutely.
And so often I would see people do relaxation with me in session, and you can see their body start to relax it. They start to just melt into the mat or the chair, whatever they were in. And sometimes they would just burst out crying because all of that tension of holding in all of their emotions just starts to flow out.
Yeah.
And then they walk out of the room with less pain.
Yeah, it's amazing to experience your body in a state where, like, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again.
Yeah.
Glad we're doing this together.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for joining us on this side of the couch today. If you think it's been worth your time and energy, please like and subscribe and share it and tell your closest 10,000 friends. If the show has revealed that you could benefit from counseling, then the next step is certainly finding the right counselor for you. If you're in Texas, the Rush Creek Counseling Center is ready for you. Give us a call at 817-704-6991 or visit our website at rushcreekcounseling.org. That's Rush, R-U-S-H, Creek, C-R-E-E-K, counseling.org. If you are outside of Texas, I still encourage you to seek out a counselor and step onto that path of healing. Now go have an awesome day.